So believe it or not, it actually gets very cold in winter. Where I live, for a long time, we had this really warm front come in, and it was right during Christmas time. It was really strange. If you watched my previous video, you know that it was weirdly warm during like mid-December, and now it's getting towards the end of December. The cold has come back with a vengeance. It's cold, it's windy. I'm hiding behind this fort me and my brother built, and a buddy of mine also helped, because the windbreak. And if you're wondering where I record my videos, it's all around this fort. And there's like junk everywhere. There's an old slide. There's all sorts of weirdness. I propped my phone, which I record all my videos on a tree with a little branch on it, and that's where I make all my videos. So now you know. But in this winter season, I've started to embrace the stillness and the calm. And what I've realized is that each season has its own mood in a way. Each season can teach you a lesson. Like in the summer, and everything's alive, everything's bustling, it's hot, it's humid, depending on where you live. Around here it's hot, it's humid, it's sweaty, it's kind of muggy, it's kind of exhausting to be outside a little bit, but some days it's beautiful, and it's all about having fun, having excitement, going around, doing unique things, having adventures, swimming, working, playing water, just having a great time. That's what summer's all about. Spring and fall, those are times of preparation. Those are times of sort of the twilight of your life. It's when you're in spring, it's that time of hope. It's the time of like, oh, winter's over, right? And then in fall, it's the time of relief that the summer's over. And it's time for cooler weather because you're so sick of the heat and the humidity. But winter is the season that everyone kind of hates, and no one likes. Everyone wants to get through it. Everyone wants to get over with. And I'm not the biggest fan of winter. I don't love it. It's probably my least favorite season. But it has its place, and there's a reason it exists. And what I've started to realize is the benefit of embracing the season of winter in your own life. Because human beings, we're not supposed to live in our air-conditioned homes. We're not supposed to always have the same climate control, same temperature, same atmosphere, eating the same foods year-round. We're not supposed to do that. Naturally, our lifestyle would be changing with the seasons, just as the seasons change. Every single living thing modifies its life to adapt, right? The trees lose their leaves because it's too cold, right? A lot of animals go into hibernation, right? Or they grow thicker fur, stuff like that, right? But humans, we've become so removed from the natural world that we end up just having the seasons as a burden, not something to embrace, right? Because every season has its own advantage and disadvantages. Like in nature, all the large, in nature, a lot of birds migrate south, right? But that leaves the few available food sources to be in abundance, actually, because there's less competition for the few birds that stay, right? So even though there's less food, objectively, in a way, there's more because there's fewer birds, right? And so for the few birds that stay, there's an abundance, right? Every single thing has its own check and balance. But again, humans, we remove ourselves. And so what am I getting at here? How are you supposed to, because obviously we're not going to go out and live like cavemen, right? Unless you really want to. So what am I getting at? It's very important to embrace the stillness, embrace calm. What I've realized today, because, nobody's perfect, right? Everyone messes up. And for a while, I've been struggling with scrolling. For a long time, I was really good about not really engaging in social media. I would only really post. That's about it. But now I've been catching myself watching YouTube videos and consuming content more than I've been uploading, which is weird. And that can be very stimulating. It's very entertaining. You're getting all these high dopamine YouTube videos and all this dopamine entertainment spikes. And then after I ate some lunch, I went outside and I started to work on a sword that I've been working on. I've been working on trying to make a medieval sword out of scrap metal, and it's been really fun, also very challenging, very rewarding. I went out there and I started to, because part of it you had to use a sander to grind in the like bevels in the sword to make the edges, and how you kind of had to do it to keep it even. You kind of just were very rhythmically moving the blade back and forth, in a little dance, almost just over and over and over again. It takes forever. I worked on it for about an hour and a half today, and then I came out and made this video. And I realized how different those two halves of my day were. In the morning, I was scrolling and consuming content. Then I worked out, and I was high energy, and I was blasting music, and that was kind of fun. That was entertaining. But when I came outside, I went out in the barn and I started working on my sword, just doing that over and over again. I didn't even have any music playing. It was just me on my thoughts, just doing my little sword dance. I realized that I was almost happier. I was more fulfilled doing that than I was scrolling or watching TV or listening to music. I was more at peace with myself and almost happier just doing my little sword dance. And that's when I realized, that's when I had the idea to make this video, is you don't need stimulation to be happy. You don't need entertainment to be happy. You don't need a constant stream of music and all that stuff to be happy. So many people listen to music before they go to bed. So many people listen to music when they're in the shower. Like, it's all this, you're just bombarding yourself with all this information. Like, it's summertime year round, but no one lets winter happen. No one lets their life be still, to be boring. That's the power of embracing boredom, is that you end up realizing that you're just as happy sitting perfectly still, watching the sunset, watching the sunrise, or there's not even anything cool outside happening. You're just sitting there, enjoying the day. You realize that you're just as happy as you are doing that, as you are scrolling and listening to music. And some people don't have the attention span for that. Some people's dopamine is so fried, and I'm no exception. It took me a long time to get to the point where I am now, where I have the attention span to just sit down and do nothing. That's honestly a skill for a lot of people to be able to do that, and that's kind of sad if you think about it. So if you're watching this video right now, and maybe you've been watching some videos before this, or listening to music, or being entertained, I highly encourage you to literally do nothing. And you're going to cope the whole time. You're going to be bored. You're going to say, well, let me just put on some lo-fi beats to help me get my thoughts in order, or whatever you're doing, right? Don't even do that. Just sit there and do nothing. And it sounds so stupid, right? Why is this random guy on YouTube wearing a stupid coat in the middle of winter, freezing his butt off out here because it's only 16 degrees, talking about just sitting still and doing nothing, right? Why would that help me at all in my life? When you let yourself be silent, that's when you hear your true thoughts. That's when you can understand what kind of inner monologue you have. And for a lot of people, that's negative, and that's why they're filling themselves with dopamine all the time, to shut out their inner monologue. But when you can hear your inner thoughts and deal with them, actually to actually feel the emotions your mind wants you to feel, that's when you can embrace calm. That's when you can have a good, healthy life. When you can embrace the stillness and live the way our ancestors lived, because they didn't have music all the time. They didn't have entertainment all the time. Most of their day was spent either hunting, gathering, or just sitting around in the cave doing nothing, resting, conserving their energy, doing what every living thing on this earth does. That's all I got for today. God bless you, and stay wild.